Hi, everybody. Welcome to Up, Down, and Around Town. And this is Caroline Sotheby. If you've been around, wow, a lot of things happened last weekend. We can't go into much detail, but we do know the car was lifted from the water off Bishop Park as of today's Tuesday. It was Monday. And a lot of people are talking, making comments about that. We still have some business. We have to find out who actually were the winners of the Christmas tree at the BASF. I'm a little bit behind at that. And last Saturday, I went to a Seroptimus group. They're fighting human trafficking and got a lot of information from there. Also at that session, there was a survivor of human trafficking, getting an idea like what she went through. I don't know if I'd want to put it on television because it probably would bother a lot of adults as well as kids. So anyway, future things to talk about. And we're going to first go to our old friend here. He was on the show. How long ago was it, Andy?
Oh, geez, that's so hard to tell you.
3-4 months ago?
Maybe it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like it was 3 years ago, you know what I mean? But yeah, no.
You've been busy.
Yeah,
You've been busy.
busy, yeah.
Okay, for some people don't realize you're involved with the DCA. You're also on one of the commissions here in Wyandotte too, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fortunate to be on the DDA also. Yeah,
okay.
Working with that, and yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, so you got something in the making now.
Yeah.
For some people don't realize you're an artist. You came here and all of a sudden you happen to mention that you got involved with art.
Yes.
Because you had cancer.
Yes.
And it was one way of therapy for you at that time.
And I didn't even know it. You know, I really didn't. I didn't put the pieces together when that was happening. All I knew is that I wasn't engrossed in my own thoughts, and I wasn't on the internet researching, you know, what can happen.
Yeah.
I don't recommend that. But anyway, yeah, so it took me away. And I didn't realize that this is actually a functioning part of art. It's very therapeutic as well. You know, sometimes it's not so much about the end result. It's about the journey of getting there.
Yeah.
And you come across different thoughts, different reactions, and you think about things that normally you're repressing in yourself, you know what I mean? And so it's really cool. And I just kind of stumbled. Then I started to learn about it. Yeah.
Who did you learn from?
Well, I started talking to people that were involved in art therapy. I actually took a course.
Okay.
And it was an online course. Believe me, it's not anything, but it was a tough course because there's a lot of things that go into this. It isn't. It's a safe place where people come and create. And in that safe place and in that creation, things happen organically that you can't explain. You don't ask a question, you don't need an answer. You just bring ideas and craft work together and they start to do it. And there's colors that one can use, there's shapes that one can use. That sometimes tells you a little story about what's going on. And so you learn about each other, you know, without using words. I mean, we have a ton of words and people use a lot of words, but sometimes the things that are deeper in us are the ones that don't have words attached to them. They're feelings. They're, you know, there are like the soul of it all. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So right now we know that you have, with some other people, put your art at the Wyandotte Hospital, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And how can somebody just go down there as an outpatient and look? It's in the hallway or what?
Yeah. You walk through the entrance of it, and you go right to the end, and then you you go to the cafeteria. It's on the outside wall of the cafeteria, right? And you see the cafeteria, you go through a double door, and then there's this meeting area where the hospital has different meetings and stuff, and it's on this one wall, and it represents a lot of my art therapy. It's much more than, when you go through, I'll never forget, I'm going in to get some work done, medical work, and it's a kind of a big deal. It's a brain surgery, and I got all these beautiful people around me, and wishing me the best. And then there's that moment where you are wheeled away from them, and you're just with yourself. And so those are the things that you get to understand how to deal with it and work through it. You don't, at first I put it all away. I decompartmentalized everything, but no, that's not the answer. The answer is to meet it, greet it, and then let it go. And I think art really helps do that,
Okay.
really helps do that.
All right. So what do you have planned through the DCA?
Well, you have to remember the Downriver Council for the Arts is a fabulous building. It's called the James DeSena Building. And as a matter of fact, James DeSena, a mentor of mine that has helped me through a lot of places I didn't even know about, and he was always gracious enough to answer my questions, talk with me, give me directions, and I'm so thankful. And he actually gave a donation of some considerable money to use on this thing. We made a partnership with Hagera Health, Carolyn Zuniga, Jill Blackson, a Wyandotte girl, just a wonderful family. We've known them for a long, long time. Didn't know that any of this happened, it just sort of came about. And they found an interest in art therapy, and they found an interest in working with children, working with young adults, working with seniors, working with veterans. See, really, working with addictions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's going to stop somebody, but I'm going to say it's part of the recovery. It could be used in that. And it has been. This is not like reinventing the wheel. This is actually just revisiting something that we kind of forgot. Art used to have a place in our schools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It used to be a big deal. You couldn't, art class, there was stuff hanging everywhere, right? And now it's, that the arts are starting, but we need them back. And we need them back for more than just looking at a piece of art. We need them back for what it does for us when we're creating art.
It's funny because when I was teaching preschool, the form art at that time was taking crayon and going within the lines. And then all of a sudden, stick figures. And I said, oh, okay, this is something different. And from there on, I didn't know that form art until maybe about 10 years ago when my daughter had Woman of Wyandotte going with seminars and things like that. And we had Kathy come in. And of course, we had like 30 different places to sit, and everybody had their own board and the paints and that. And okay, you take this and use this form of a brush, and you go for that. And all of a sudden, it's like you're sitting and saying, did I do that? And not knowing anything about how to do it. Just everybody had their own different colors, but we were all watching that one painting in the front. So that was my first way of learning how.
That was a good memory on that too, because that's the power of it, really, truly.
Really?
It's when you finish something, like you just said, and then you look at it, you have some kind of a good feeling about it. And see, that's what it's trying to do, is replace the other feelings. And the more we have good feelings, the less we have bad feelings. So if we can keep them rocking, we could do a good job with it. I really appreciate that story. I think that when you're creating art, people get lost in the final product, and they don't understand the journey. And the journey is exactly how you say. It's like you're sitting there, and you know how they always say when you're driving, you're like somewhat you're like driving, but you're really somewhere else. Well, that's kind of what art does. It takes you out of that field, that all that stuff that happens in this world. And I know that when I was in school, you were in school, that we had drills, and they were fire drills. And there were weather drills, like tornado warnings, and every once in a while we'd have to do one of those where you go into the shelters. Yeah, and there's a lot of different drills now. that our kids
Really?
do. Yeah, a lot of different ones. There's locks on doors. There's ways you have to do things. See, and what we have to understand is that brings angst. That brings things. And we have to understand that it does and think about the solutions that we can bring to help release some of that. It's a much, honestly, if I was brought up in today's world, I came from the 70s, I would probably be dead. I would be dead because I was an experimental person.
Oh, okay.
And an experimental person in this world that we live in can do it one time and die.
Why?
Fentanyl.
Huh?
Fentanyl, the drug
Really?
fentanyl,
Yeah.
it's involved in a lot of things. We're losing 45,000 people a year to fentanyl, to drug overdoses, to opiates, and it's we have to look at that, and a lot of them are kids, and this is how they, instead of using art or other methods to deal with what they're dealing with, they're using those methods, and I kind of understand that. I've been there before. I've been there before, and so that gives me a little bit of an understanding,
Yeah. Well, in a way, for kids, sports is a way too, as long as they develop and can feel good about themselves after a game or whatever, because they see the end result, let's score, or maybe, hey, I did well today, or something. So art is a form as well as sports for some.
I agree. Yes, absolutely.
And so nowadays, there's so many different things that are being taught in school. But let's get back to the school. You're going to get our schools involved in this.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is with Hagera and the Downriver Council for the Arts, we're going to attach ourselves with the Downriver middle schools and high schools. And we're going to work with the art teachers.
Oh.
And the art teachers, we're going to try to get them to put it in their curriculum that they're going to do art that has the background of self-esteem. Like, what do you like about yourself? What's your strong points? What's some of your fears? And try to relate it into some type of artwork. And then they're going to do, each of those schools are going to do their own thing as far as deciding which ones will actually display all their artwork at the Downriver Council for the Arts. It's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
And there's going to be gifts for the art teachers because, we know that the art teachers are spending money out of their own pockets so they can get some stuff to help these kids have some stuff. So instead of looking at it, we looked at it that way, and we want to help them with art supplies if they needed them and stuff like that. So this is where Mr. DeSena came in, James DeSena, and that's part of it. And of course, Hagera's come in with some donations too. And so we're going to get it all together. It's going to start April 25th, and it's going to run through May 18th. And just picture the DCA, picture all these pictures all over the place from all different age groups, and mom and dad come in, grandpa come in, their friends come in, and they're going to show them that. So we'll get back to that whole thing. You feel good, self-esteem, right? Yeah. You feel good about it. So I know some people think, oh my God, that seems like just a placebo, but it's truly not. It's definitely inside all of us, this creativity in our stuff. And I really think that, with our seniors, we're even talking to Henry Ford. There's a couple ladies there that I met, Heather Rudy and Paula Rodriguez.
Okay.
And I told them that we're doing this, and they met me down the same day I called them, the same day. They met me down there, we talked about it, and we were actually talking about maybe Henry Ford Hospital in Wyandotte can have a room. And maybe in that room, they can have art supplies, easels, paper, okay? Yeah. And maybe we can facilitate a person to come down there and organize, because with the Henry Ford Hospital, they're really concerned with not only the physicality of what they're doing,
right?
They're also thinking about how the person's thinking about it and how they're handling it in the emotional aspect. So this, kudos to Henry Ford. You know, I mean, that's just, they're looking at the full picture, not just, oh, we're going to do an operation, we're going to send you away. No, we're going to do an operation, and maybe you should do this a little bit as you recuperate here. And so we're talking about that.
Are you going to have an artist actually in those rooms?
Yes, exactly. I mean, and it doesn't, again, an artist is just there to facilitate, not to tell them what to do. If the question's asked, of course we'll be there, but it's a kind of a freewheeling.
Oh.
We had a tent at the old theater field, right? Remember where the Wyandotte Theater used to be? So now it's a nice grassy area. I'm hoping someday maybe we can talk Joe Gruber into it. Maybe we can make that into our own Wyandotte Central Park.
Why not?
It's right in the middle of our city. We could throw some trees, get some I mean, we could maybe make it a Central Park. Who knows? Anyway, so
that's another.
That's another thing to talk about. But I already forgot what I was saying, though.
Okay, rewind.
Yeah. So what you know? So we would do that. We would facilitate and have a person in there to direct and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned about seniors now. Now, if they want to come down, are you guys going to have a special night? Say, hey, come on down and let's try it and we'll teach you, or what?
Well, you know, I'd like to meet the Copeland Center people. This is not about just, there's a central location, but I see a bunch of different places that can reach to people. Now, Copeland's already doing things, and I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I would like to partner up with everybody in that respect and use what they've already done, and maybe I can learn something, and maybe we can learn something together and have it there, or maybe we'll have, I mean, our building's quite big. It's a beautiful building.
Well, right now, I think with COVID coming in, Copeland's sort of suffering too. They have maybe euchre and a couple of days that people come, but I don't think everybody's aware that it's there and convenient. You can come down for something else. So maybe that might be a way of sort of etching in there and say, hey, can we have one day or a night for that? That's something to look to.
Well, no, when you say that, I mean, COVID changed a lot of stuff.
Did.
Think about it, the Downriver Council for the Arts, right? About people coming, sitting, talking, corresponding. You know, that's how it works. COVID, wipe it out. The schools weren't going to bring people down. People weren't going to come, you know, so it changed those dynamics. And now we got to get up.
Yeah.
We have to get up and start again. And it's not easy. You know, there's these ladies at the Downriver Council for the Arts, Erin Seuss, the executive director, Michelle Porter, the president of our board, her husband, Tim, Elroy. There's just some people that have been there through it all, through the thick and thin, and never stopped, left that door open, even when nothing was happening. And now that is somewhat past. Now the getting up is the hard part.
Yeah.
But, you know, so what we got to do is we got to get out there and we got to find volunteers. That's another thing that took a big trouble with the COVID. You know, it's hard to find volunteers. We're a nonprofit organization. But I mean, our growing pains are no different than any other growing pains. It's just what do you do about it is going to be different. You know, how you handle it. We can talk about how it's changed things and accept it, or we can get back on the horse again and go. And that's what I think we can do, and that's what we want to do.
You're starting.
Yeah.
Anyway, how many artists have their paintings in the hospital in case somebody just wants to get an idea?
Well, this time it was kind of different. They put all mine up.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, see, I didn't want it to be a personal thing, but it just sort of worked out that way. And so I figured if I'm going to go out and ask people to donate some money to help our art therapy courses, because this one that we're talking about, the self-esteem program, is going to have a series of programs.
Okay.
It's internet
Okay.
bullying. I mean, you name it. Social pressures. I mean, once somebody has self-esteem and once they're a little bit stronger, they can say no because we're kind of people pleasers. We want to be around the people that are cool or whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I see all that happening, and I'm very excited about it. You know, most of the reasons why I'm so interested in is because of some of the things that have happened in my life that didn't go as planned. You know, it didn't go, but for some reason, pain teaches me a lot better than other things do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think for me, that's the way it worked. You know.
Hey, you know, thinking about when I went to the Seropolis thing, they had a survivor on, and that's the talk she described exactly how she got involved in it, what they did to her. They actually left her for dead and landed up coming alive like 2 weeks later in a hospital.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic.
And what she's gone through within the last 2-3 years. She's got bad health, but they are asking her to help this one organization because they figure that being she was there, she can counsel people. And today I was thinking, you know, I said, it's a shame that they have to rely on somebody that finally, after all this, should be able to go out and enjoy what part of her life she can, even though she's physically, in bad shape. But then, like when I was mentioning it to Neil here, it's a good thing that she's willing to do it. But can you imagine every time you're talking to somebody, you're going back and reliving what you went through too. So she really wouldn't be able to get that out of her system.
I think so.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
I think that's probably the greatest act one can do is to release it in a way that it can help somebody else. So it's the service.
Okay.
The service of that builds that person because they're not only saying it, but they're seeing that I just maybe saved that person from a slip or a fall, or maybe I helped them so when they got to that point, they heard what I said. So I think all of a sudden it's a badge of honor.
Okay.
It's not something that you don't, I don't want to talk about what happened to me to everybody that walks the street, but I definitely want to talk to people, things that happened to me that are experiencing it happening to them.
Okay.
Because why keep it a secret? That's what I got to share. That's what I got to say to make a difference. To make a difference for them. Because if I had somebody like that, and I did, I had many people that picked me up because they were there before me.
All right. So that makes sense then. So.
It's a wonderful thing. It's therapeutic as you can't believe.
Really?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So in the long run, she's actually counseling herself to a point because she gets to that point by seeing what results happen there.
It's therapy. It's almost the same principle as art therapy. It's organically happening. She didn't do it for that reason. She didn't know that was going to happen, but she found out it did. She found out how that delighted her inside, that something so tragic and so terrible could be repeated and be beautiful for another person.
Okay.
You know, it's the human contact. It's fantastic.
Okay. Okay, we have about 5 minutes left. As a in case somebody just happened to come in, how do they get in touch, or will they get in touch with you from the school?
Well, no. What they're going to do is our girls, Erin, Michelle, and the people that we talked about at the DCA, are going to be doing this all on the line. And see, you understand that we service 21 different downriver schools in our area as part of the Downriver Council for the Arts. They're going to refresh those memories and those connections, and we're going to invite. We had just some great response, and we're going to get some more great response.
You might not have enough room for 21 schools.
Well, they're going to take a certain amount.
Best ones? Oh, okay.
Well, the ones that not best. See, that's again, that goes back to the area where you're thinking about the end result. The ones that, I mean,
Made an impact?
yeah, more than they, like, when I used to be in a competitive world, right? And it seems like the same person that won the award over and over again because they dealt with it on production in comparisons too.
Okay.
Now, when I look at it, I look at personal bests. So the person that made some great improvements on their personal best, well, that's the one I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because that's the one that's moving.
Okay. Now you're going to, after all this is done, at least the first session, are you going to bring some of the paintings here or get the results of some of the kids that really enjoyed it?
I would just, you know what, Carolyn, I tell you what, I have so much respect for what you do here and how you help other people reach out and, you know, and make a thing. And I just want the people out there to know if they can find it in their hearts, to either go down to the hospital, look at a painting, buy a painting. That money's going to go 100% to art therapy and our future series.
Okay.
Or just write a check to the Downriver Council for the Arts, Art Therapy, and send it to 81 Chestnut in Wyandotte, Michigan. That'd be fabulous, because anything that we can, any help we can get, our services get better for the people in the Downriver area, and that's where we want it.
Okay.
Safe place, place to go, place to create, place to let go.
Okay.
This world's a little bit tight right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we could use some loosening, and I think we can bring it.
Thanks, Andy. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you again.
And keep us posted.
I will. I will.
Okay. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this. There's a lot of information tossed your way. Keep in touch. We'll see you next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Bye now. So.